Carroll bringing it forward. Thompson's making the run. Carroll hangs on to it though. Still Davy Carroll. Could go all the way here. Oh, what a goal!
I don't know what it is that makes me love you so. I only know I never wanna let you go. 'Cause you started something, don't you see? That ever since we met you had a hold on me. It happens to be true. I only wanna be with you.
Hello, I'm Phil Catchpole and welcome to this week's Ringing the Blues. On the show this week, we have all the action and reaction from the game against Carlisle United at Adams Park. We have the opposition view, plus Wycombe Wanderers fan Jonny South joins us on Till Death Us Do Part to talk about his favourite Wycombe Wanderers memories. But first, let's head to Mexico City for the full Liga Juan results with Uri.
We are ringing the blues from Mexico City. It's me, Uri, and here are the results for League One. Barnsley 0, Blackpool 1, Derby County 0, Cambridge United 0, Exeter City 0, Northampton Town 2, Fleetwood Town 1, Leyton Orient 0, Lincoln City 2, Cheltenham Town 0, Peterborough United 2, Bristol Rovers 0, Port Vale 0, Bolton Wanderers 1, Reading 0, Burton Albion 0, Shrewsbury Town 0, Charlton Athletic 0, Stevenage 1, Oxford United 3, Wigan Athletic 1, Portsmouth 2, Wycombe Wanderers 2, Carlisle United 0. So Jack Grimmer's family were busy moving house for him on Saturday, whilst he was commentating on the game at Adams Park. Good luck in your new home, Jack, and you are a great on commentary, but get over your injury soon. So Chairboys Spanish this week, moving house. So let's go word by word. First, how do you say house in Spanish? Casa. Casa, house, casa. Okay, and how do you say moving? Well, to move has an etymology in the Latin word mutare, like mutate, to change, to modify, to move on. So, mutare in Spanish, or, mutare is mudar. So, mudar de casa. He mutated home, so to say. So, congratulations on your new home, Jack Grimmer. Back to England with my amigo Filiberto Cachapollos. Until next week.
Muchas gracias, Uri. Always educational and informative. Right then, Wycombe Wanderers hosted Carlisle United for the family day at Adams Park. Jack Grimmer joined us on commentary, and here's what happened. Wycombe build again with Pattenden. Pattenden looks up, delivers a right-footed ball towards Big Chris. Keeper's come, has saved his line. Richard Keogh stabs goalwards and it's deflected behind by the defender. The keeper was all over the place there. And the keeper in a good position there, got back well. And it was a comfortable save in the end. And Sam Vokes.
Go on, keeper, put it down.
Vokes has got there. Keeper's been caught out. And has he handled it outside the box? He has. And the keeper's got in real problems there, and he's going to be off. He is off. Sam Vokes, well played, Sam Vokes. He snuck behind the keeper, saw that he rolled it out, got there. The keeper recovered, but whilst making the save outside his area, handled the ball. And it's good afternoon, good night. Jockrell Anderson, he's off. Thomas Holy's going to have to come on, which means there's going to be a substitute from an outfield player. Carlisle down to 10. And it's a yellow card as well for the skipper, Huntington, complaining there. Goes past Huntington, cuts it back on his left foot. Penalty. Gareth McCleary bundled over, and it's a penalty to Wycombe Wanderers. Now Thomas Holy, I mentioned the first thing when he crossed the white line to replace Luke Plange to replace the sent-off Anderson in goal. Saved the penalty against Wycombe Wanderers whilst he played for Ipswich back in the promotion season from League One into the Championship. Joe Jacobson took the penalty that day. We talked about the new laws of the game, or the wording of it in the week on Ringing the Blues. Thomas Holy on his line, standing still but making himself look very big, which he is very big. Luke Leahy, left-footed. Stuttering run up and scores! Penalty by Luke Leahy, his second of the season, and out comes the plain celebration and then a jump. The celebration needs work, Jack, but we love the penalty.
Luke Leahy does not miss penalties. Love that. He doesn't miss penalties unless he gets another opportunity to take one and score that one. But see,
Vokesy, out of the area. Vokesy goes to goal right-footed, beaten away, but drops to Potts. Doesn't sit down, and then it's wiped out again. No pen, says the ref. Didn't sit down, and the ball is now with Carlisle on the counter. End-to-end stuff at Adams Park. Scowen to Boys. Boys into the feet of Vokes. Vokes back to goal.
Yeah!
Goal! Sam Vokes. What a goal from him. Back to goal. Put it to his right. Bought the yard. Drilled it low past Thomas Holy. And there is the Wycombe Wanderers' second goal. Great ball to Killian Phillips by Joe Lowe. Phillips into the box for Taylor. Got there ahead of his man. Pokes it wide of the post. Another great move by Wycombe Wanderers. And the referee blows a full-time whistle. Wycombe Wanderers with a 2-0 scoreline here against the Cumbrians. They went down to 10 men in the first half after the keeper, Jockwell Anderson, was sent off. Sam Vokes key to that one. And then Wycombe Wanderers winning a penalty towards the end of the first half, converted beautifully by Luke Leahy. Goal in the second half from Sam Vokes. Gaffer, another win here at home on a Saturday afternoon and a really good performance.
Yeah, I was pleased with so many elements of our display today. I thought, especially against 11 men, I think that obviously the game does change against 10, but I thought against 11 we were very good. I was really pleased with the variety in our play, the way we passed the ball, but also where we like I say, kept that variety, playing into Vokesy, playing in behind. I thought we had good quality about us, good intensity about us, and obviously the sending off does change the game slightly, but fair play to the boys. I was really pleased. The hardest thing in football is to really win games and win convincingly. So fair play to Carlisle. I thought with 10 men they were to a man. I thought they were top. So it was a tough afternoon at times, but I was really pleased with the work we did today.
That Sam Vokes is a wily old fox. Is that something you guys have noticed in the week that the keeper leaves out, or is that something that Sam's picked up on during the game?
Yeah, he must have just thought about it during the game, because obviously, we knew that they were going to kind of slow the game down slightly, go long on the goal kick. So it must be something that I've actually just thought about. We hadn't discussed it before. I thought very, very good today, Sam. I think that, obviously after missing all of pre-season, barring a couple of days, it was always going to take him a little bit of time to really get his match legs. But I think that the last few performances from him, we're really seeing what he can bring to the team, and I was really pleased with him today. The way he took his goal, I think that we obviously want more goals in terms of numbers from Vokesy. I think he's got everything about him to really go and hit the ground running for us this year and produce in front of goal. So really pleased with him, and really pleased with so many elements of the performance.
You must be pleased with the squad depth as well, because it's been a tricky week. There's obviously injuries that we know about, but Joe Lowe missing out through illness, so a shuffling at the back as well, and Jasper Patterson coming in for his first Football League start.
Yeah, we've been tested, haven't we, already in terms of squad depth. There was a reason why we wanted to recruit in terms of the numbers. It's a big gap between at the end of the transfer window and January opening up, so we knew we needed the numbers. I think Jasper Patterson's probably been the most unluckiest man in the building to not have played sooner. I think he's been top in terms of his effort and commitment for a couple of years now, and his quality the pre-season. I think he's been very, very good, and like I say, probably the unluckiest man in the building not to have started sooner. He's been chomping at the bit, and I was absolutely delighted to give him the opportunity to play today. He's had a family bereavement during the week, and the character he's shown today he's just such a mature boy. He's just full of energy in life, and I'm so proud for him. You know, Joey's had an illness, you know, most of the week. Only started training again yesterday, but we know with Keezy that you got an incredible man to come and step in, and I thought the quality he showed and the intensity of his defensive display. You know, he's been unfortunate not to play more recently, but the quality of the consistency of Joe, Chris and Luke has meant that he hasn't started as many games recently as what he would like and we would like, but I thought he's very, very good today.
And some really good patterns of play today as well, especially in the build-up to the second goal for Sam Vokes. John Gorman, your old gaffer, was here today. He would have been proud of some of that, do you think?
Yeah, I was saying to the guys before the game, some of the football we played under John was just an absolute delight to be a part of, and we're trying to make small steps in terms of doing what we believe in and how we want to go about our business. I think we've seen shoots of optimism recently. Even last week at Charlton, I thought we were, you know, again, I'm going to say it again, I thought it was one of our best displays, second half for half an hour until we conceded the second. So, you know, there's small steps. There's loads more to come from us. I'm demanding more. I think that we could have done even better today at times, but we have to be pleased with what we're doing. This group is, you know, has a real high desire to keep improving. There is some nice bits coming out, and we want to make sure we enjoy those moments and keep that hunger high to keep moving forward.
And how important was it to get the 3 points here at home today? Because tough trip now to Pompey, followed by another long away day next Saturday. Yeah,
I think, you know, after coming off the back of any defeat, let alone going to the Charlton last week and the injustice we felt, we wanted to bounce back. We demanded that during the week. We spoke about coming out the blocks quick, which I thought we did. Jasper had a chance after a minute or two, didn't he? I think that he's blazed over, but that's what I wanted from the boys. It's what the boys wanted from themselves, and you know, it is a real tough week. We got you know, Portsmouth Tuesday night, and then a long trip to Fleetwood, and we wanted to start with 3 points. You do that, and then you can really approach the week with optimism. So we need to enjoy today, enjoy the weekend. I've asked the boys to enjoy themselves, but recover quick, because you know, we've got a real challenging week, and we're looking forward to it.
Keezy, a clean sheet and 3 points at home.
Yeah.
Great Saturday.
Yeah, no, listen, I think you summed it up perfectly there. So, yeah, listen, obviously, like we knew, we obviously watched a lot of Carlisle. They've been in pretty much every game they've played, so we knew it was going to be a tough game. But yeah, we had a really good week's training, and we really felt good going into the game. So yeah, listen, I thought we were on top with 11 men, to be honest, and had some good chances. And then obviously, then Vokesy's like obviously really intelligent play. So yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? You know, obviously going down to 10 men, you're trying to keep the intensity in the game. But fair play to Carlisle, they stuck in there well. But Lukey got a really good pen, didn't we? And then obviously the second goal is always key, isn't it? And great finish from Sam. And then, like I say, I thought we deserved to win the game.
Players often say it can be tricky against 10 men. Yeah. What are the challenges?
Yeah, I just think like, one, you've got to try and keep the intensity in the game, because you know that potentially they're going to maybe sit off and you know, try and counter you a little bit more. So you've got to be a bit clean with the ball and, like you say, try and keep the intensity in the game, which I think we did. Obviously there was times where we didn't a little bit, but yeah, I think that was like the biggest message really at half time. We knew that like obviously they might change, which they did. They sort of changed to like 2 wide players and a striker. So yeah, we knew it was going to be a different challenge, and they sort of played cat and mouse a little bit. So we made sure the lockdown had to be right. And but yeah, no, I thought in general we kept waves of attacks going, and another day we could have maybe scored more goals. So yeah, like you say, it's always a danger, but ultimately professional performance.
And you're in the middle there of the experience. We've got Jasper Pattenden on your right. Yeah. First start in the Football League, a big milestone for the lad.
No, fair play to Jasper. You know, he's a really great kid, and yeah, so pleased for him today. He's you know, he's got a great attitude. He's really bubbly around the place, and yeah, and like the manager said to him, really, like he deserves it. Obviously, it was a blow to obviously like Kane not involved again today. He's obviously been great for us. But you know, that's how football works. You know, that's why you train hard. That's why you keep around it, because you never know when you're called upon, and you got to make sure you stay ready for that chance. And I think probably what helps him was probably playing that game. You know, that shows how important them games are. You know, against Palace. And no, I thought he was excellent today. Really, really good. Yeah, and I think obviously the experience in the team probably helped him settle down. So yeah, I thought overall, you know, fair play to Jasper. I was delighted for him.
And can Wycombe use this result now as a bounce into Tuesday night? Fratton Park's always tough, but it can go there with confidence.
No, exactly that. I think that was, you know, obviously we knew we had to be on our game here today. Obviously our last home performance was very good against Blackpool, and we wanted to repeat that. Obviously the fans have been fantastic with us. I think they're sort of really connecting with the team, and that's important for us because we feel that as well. And so yeah, listen, we wanted to get a really good win today, or a positive result, and a good performance, which we did. So yeah, listen, obviously we know going Tuesday, tough game, they've had a really good start. Yeah, it's always an electric atmosphere down there, under the lights as well. I think it adds to it a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, as players, these are the games you want to play in, right? You know, against these teams and these crowds. So yeah, listen, we're going to rest. We'll review the game like we always do. Things we can do better, because there's always stuff we can do better, but things we've done really well. And yeah, going into it, I just think, like you say, we just got confidence. Confidence is really high. Especially the last sort of 6 games, only 1 loss. So yeah, listen, we're going to go there full of confidence and try and get another good run.
A long day for the Cumbrians. Here's the opposition view. Seek eye.
We just aren't quite good enough, especially up front. But other than the first half against Wigan, we've been competitive in every game, so hopefully we can hobble through to January and get some reinforcements. Today, the keeper made a mess, again, though there was no handball, so he shouldn't have been sent off. Then they get a penalty, which no one even appealed for. We were the better team in the second half until the second goal went in. Story of our season. Rough end of refereeing decisions, and not quite good enough.
Darth Vader.
Absolutely shocking performance. That goalie wouldn't get a game for the Arabian B team. Simpson needs to get shot of him. I thought the other one was bad, but come back, Ollie, all is forgiven. If those Americans possibly taking us over aren't on the next flight back to Florida without opening their checkbooks, I'll be very surprised.
Chris Williams.
I didn't think Anderson actually handled the ball. Their lad Vokes kicks it onto his falling hand, or maybe even against his own standing foot. But, my God, how many mistakes can one keeper make in so few games? He hasn't got the concentration levels required. Send him back to Reading.
John Halewood Dodd.
We need to get results against the smaller clubs like Wycombe, or we're really going to struggle.
Mooney.
I thought Wycombe looked decent up until they took the lead. I don't know whether they sat off us deliberately after that, or whether the half-time substitutions changed things. But we looked far more likely to score in the second half, until they actually did. One thing's for sure, keep making stupid mistakes and we're going to be in trouble. This takeover needs to happen quickly to allow Simpson to plan for January.
David Gale.
To be brutally honest, we're looking like a team that will be near the bottom of the table. And that isn't all down to just the goalkeeper, the referees, and bad luck that people keep mentioning. But hopefully, the club takeover will help sort it all out.
Right, CUFC.
If we continue to make errors like we are, then it's going to be a long, long old season. Red cards, penalties, mistakes at vital moments. Everyone knew it was going to be difficult this season, but 1 clean sheet in 12 games, when you don't score many, isn't a good combination.
Fish Island Blues.
Credit to the lads. In the second half, we were by far the better side until their second goal. We just need to take us chances and stop the mistakes. We were in this game and shot ourselves in foot, but we're very capable and just need to stick together. I love this team. We will turn it around.
Mullen 103.
It really doesn't help when you've got a clown as a goalkeeper and give away penalties like that. This was always going to be a tough game, especially when we self-destruct as well. Hopefully, we'll get some really awful winter weather with loads of postponed games, then spend some money in January, as otherwise, it's looking like a really quick return to the basement.
Blue Alf.
Vokes was causing havoc. The guy is 4 or 5 seasons off playing in the Premier League and has over 50 international caps. At this level, he's a class act. We need a couple like him at Christmas. I don't want a team of over 30s, but we need some with a similar type of experience, or we're going down.
Northern Monkey.
Okay, so I'm the optimistic one. We will stay up, of that I have no doubt. And if any Carlisle fan wants more than that this season, well, they need to take a long, hard look at themselves.
Right then, victim number 2 for Till Death Us Do Part. Football is like a marriage. You choose your club. They're yours for life through the good and the bad times. And to discuss his life memories of Wycombe Wanderers is Wycombe Wanderers fan Jonny South. Jonny, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very good indeed. Thank you for doing this and also for interacting with our last guest as well, telling us how much you enjoyed the feature. Warning: if you do that, then you get the call to come on. So
Got the call up, yeah.
Exactly. If you are listening to this and think, I fancy doing this, then email media@wwfc.com so we can build these up throughout the season. Now, Jonny, without revealing your age, when was your first Wycombe Wanderers game?
It was March 1995.
Okay.
So I was a bit of a slow burn on the football. I never really had much interest until I was about 11. And my family took me to Wycombe versus Birmingham. And it was just towards the end of Martin O'Neill's incredible journey with the club. And we lost 3-0. We got absolutely battered that day. And there was a very dubious goal by Steve Claridge, which I have seen the footage of, actually. Fairly recently, and it was very, very dubious indeed. I think that was the second goal, and it pretty much diminished our playoff hopes for that year. But I'm still here many, many years later, so I definitely remember enjoying the experience. But yeah, that was my first game. So that was March 1995.
Amazing. And the great thing about football is that you've got these memories, no matter how old or forgetful we get, we always remember things about football. I don't think I can remember anything about 1995 other than the football. So let's see what brings up with our wedding background now. So we start off with something old. So that's your best ever memory of Wycombe Wanderers. What is it, Jonny?
So I'm going to go for a really obvious one. It's going to have to be Torquay away. But it was very, very close with definitely Lincoln away in the Sanchez era was very, very close, and also the Essendon goal at Leicester. But I'm going to have to go with Torquay, just for all the obvious reasons, really. I mean, the odds were against us. I remember travelling down there thinking, what on earth am I doing? And it was a solo trip as well. But, the sun was shining, and obviously Gareth was very, very optimistic throughout the week building up to the game. And I just thought, no matter what happens, I've got to be there. If we're going to go out of the Football League, I felt I needed to be there no matter what. And if the miracle happened and we stayed up, then I definitely wanted to be there for that. So, yeah, just Torquay away. I mean, it was an amazing experience. It was a really good game. It was a good performance, and it was actually really nice knowing that we were going to survive whilst the game was still going on. Because had we obviously won the game, been 3-0 up, comfortable, but just waiting around for the Rovers game to finish, that would have been pretty hideous. But it was an amazing day, and I remember you walking through the terrace with the microphone about 10 minutes before the end, and it was just a really great memory, and I think the significance of that day outweighs any other memory in my time supporting the club. Anyway,
is it fair to say you made the journey then out of duty rather than sort of expectation or hope that day?
Yeah, a little bit. I just like I said, I felt I had to be there. And I thought, if we do pull this off, I can't miss this match. If we do survive, this would definitely be a tale to tell for many years to come. I just thought, I've just got to travel down there. And worst case scenario, it was a new ground to tick off. So it was my first time going to Torquay away. So I just felt like I had to be there, to be honest.
And describe that moment when. Well, it wasn't really the full-time whistle, as you said, at our place. It was up the road, up at Bristol Rovers. When we got the news, describe that feeling.
Yeah, it was amazing. I it took a while to sink in. I thought, wow, we've actually done this. We won the game. Torquay looked like they were already on their holidays. I think they were already down before the game had started. And it was just a really enjoyable last 5-10 minutes of that game, knowing we were staying up. The odds were stacked up against us. It was a great atmosphere down there, and knowing that there were going to be some celebrations afterwards, it was just a really, really great feeling. And I was just really, really pleased for Gareth as well, because he'd come into such a difficult scenario with the club, and we'd had so many injuries and players in and out of the team. Obviously, all the off-field stuff was going on as well. There was a lot of uncertainty about, who was going to be running the club following that game and leading up to it, and everything like that. And there's really difficult circumstances to work within. And I just thought he did a brilliant job. So I think he just, thoroughly deserved it, and thoroughly deserved his celebration of hanging off the bar and Sam Wood doing the worm on the pitch as well. Yeah, it's brilliant.
One of those iconic pictures of that day. I still to this day don't know who this was, and every Wycombe fan I've spoken to doesn't know who this was. The guy that came dressed as Jesus Christ,
Yes,
with the Believe sign. Any idea who that guy was? I'd love to speak to him one day.
it wasn't me. No, I don't know who that was, but if you're out there, get in touch. Maybe he could be the next victim for this segment.
We have a reproduction of that sign here up at Marlow Road, so I'd love to speak to the man behind the original. Right, let's move on to something new then. Your favourite player in the current squad and why?
I'm going to go with Joe Lowe, actually. I think he's a really, really promising player. I think he's had a huge impact since he's come into the team. I mean, he's currently our top scorer, I think. I really like how he plays the game, and I think he's a good old-fashioned centre-back. And his impact so far kind of reminds me of when Alfie Mawson came to the club as well. And obviously he's a threat in front of goal. And I just think he's got a really good die-hard attitude from what I've seen. I think he's going to be a really important player for us this season. And yeah, hats off to Matt Bloomfield for bringing him in. Yeah, I just think he's going to be a really important player for us.
It was really interesting talking to Luke Leahy on Ringing the Blues last week, because he said about him coming in on trial and with the greatest respect in the world, no one expected the start that he made. They knew he was a promising player, but he's really hit the ground running. He's obviously come through another club, but when they're young and they're wearing the quarters, do you feel a sense of ownership over them, in a sense of like they're one of ours straight away?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's how you put yourself about on the pitch and how you interact with the fans before and after the game. I do get the impression that he's, club through and through. I think he's going to give his all for the shirt. And his dad was a player, wasn't he? So he's obviously grown up in that environment and knows what it takes to make it in the professional game. So I just think he's a really, really good signing, and I'm excited to see how he does for us this season and beyond.
He's already had an iconic moment playing for Wycombe Wanderers, the celebration away at Bristol Rovers, which he got booked for, which was a little harsh. But yeah, stuff like that can only really help make you a cult hero, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't at Bristol Rovers. I haven't actually ticked that one off yet. Actually, I've got to. Mind you, there were only 500 tickets available, I think, weren't there? It was a bit of a squeeze.
I wouldn't hold your breath for a great fan experience.
So I have to do that at some point. But yeah, I did see that, and I think he was surprised to get booked, wasn't he? He didn't quite know that was actually now a bookable offence. That's quite funny. But yeah, he's definitely already made an excellent impression in front of the Chairboys faithful for that goal alone, I think.
And we're talking to Joe about maybe doing something with the new range of sausage rolls at Adams Park, because that's what he calls a goal, a sausage roll. If he was to score in the first half at Adams Park, would that encourage you to go and buy a sausage roll, Johnny?
I think it would. I was actually after one in the Frank Adams stand on Saturday, but I don't think there were any available. But yeah, I think that I'll tell you what, I'll promise that next time he scores a goal, I'll be in the terrace and I'll go buy that sausage roll.
Here we go. Right then, on to something borrowed. Now, this could either be your favourite ever Wycombe Wanderers loanee, or the player that you'd wished Wycombe Wanderers would have signed at some point in the dim and distant past. What's it to be, Johnny?
It's going to be Alfie Mawson, favourite loanee. This was again really, really difficult actually, but similar to what I've been saying about Joe Lowe, I feel like he just came into the club from day one. He wanted to play. He wanted to get minutes under his belt. He gave it his all. He scored goals. You could tell instantly he was that class above in terms of ability and was going to go on to do great things. And that season obviously was completely different to the season we had before, and he helped get us to the playoff final. And one thing that really stood out for me actually was when we played Exeter. I think it was around March time on the Tuesday night, and we got that penalty, which I think it was Paul Hayes who converted it. I think it must have been like the 96th minute or 97th minute.
I think it was the Wednesday morning when we scored that.
Yeah. And I was there with my dad, and it was a really good game, but it was actually Alfie Mawson's celebration when the penalty had been given. I mean, he leapt up in the air and sort of punched the ground with delight. And I just loved seeing that from someone who's on loan and knows they're probably not going to be at the club the following season. But yeah, I just thought he was just a really good all-round, old-fashioned centre-back and really commanded his role well. He's up there for me. And I really feel for him. I listened to his recent interview with Ben Foster, and it's a travesty that he can't play professional football anymore. It's really, really bad. But just grateful that we managed to get that year out of him, and it was obviously great to see him back here as well for a short space of time. Great player.
It's interesting what you say about it was really obvious to us when he started playing, because he was class through and through. But the sliding doors nature of football, it was Gary Doherty getting injured. And then there was another loanee arranged with Brentford. He got injured. And then Wycombe was so desperate for a centre-back. Alfie signed the day before. They met the players on the bus on the way to Newport and then played every game and was player of the season. This was a guy that couldn't get a game anywhere. He went out on loan to Luton. He was at Welling for a bit. So he was nearly on the verge of quitting the game altogether to go and work with his dad on the fruit and veg store in Ealing Market. Yet this is a guy that went on to get into the England squad after being given a chance by Wycombe Wanderers. It just shows you the crazy nature of football, doesn't it?
It really does. And I think, again, credit to Gareth Ainsworth and also Dobbo for spotting these players, being aware of them and giving them an opportunity. And I think the position the club was in around that time and the seasons prior, it paved the way for players like Alfie to actually be given a chance in the first team. A bit like when, Stewart and Courtney Horse were dropped into the side quite quickly, into the senior side, because at the time we didn't really have an alternative, but we found some fantastic players who might not have got that chance and could easily have just sat in the reserves or on the bench and fizzled out. It is an unbelievable story, actually, and it's nice that the club played a part in what was a short but very successful career for him.
And we got a bit of time this week. So is there anyone that jumps out that we should have signed that you really wanted us to sign? Or even if it's completely unrealistic, is there a player do you think, I just would have loved to have had them?
Yeah, actually, going back to the Leicester away reference, I remember hearing a rumour, and I don't know how much truth was in this, but that we were going to sign Ian Wright for a one-off game. Now, I have no idea. Maybe someone else can shed a bit of light on this, but if we had signed Ian Wright as the emergency striker for that game, I think that would have been incredible, actually, obviously, especially if he scored. But hey, look, we got Roy Essendon in the end, and he was the one who scored the goal. So that's fine by me. But if there is someone who could maybe clarify that rumour, that would be quite good to hear.
I'm sure people listening to this will know the answer to that, would have heard that as well. I also remember hearing the rumour of Gianluca Vialli as well, possibly coming out of retirement. There was a few sort of people circling around that time. But as you say, the story as it is pretty much unimprovable. It was the Roy Essendon goal. And I think maybe there were a few people linked after we won that game and with the semi-final in mind. But yeah, do get in contact if you do know the rumours. Or in fact, Righty, if you're listening to this and there's no good reason why it shouldn't be, do get in contact. On to something blue. Now, this is your favourite piece of merchandise and your best idea for a piece of merchandise that the club aren't quite making at the moment.
Yeah, I've got one of each, actually. So I think it's one of my favourite but very, very random pieces of Wycombe Wanderers merchandise is actually the Santa Supports Wycombe Wanderers blue Christmas hat, which we seem to dig out every year, and seems to do the rounds at the dinner table. And I can't remember the year this came out, but it has survived in my Wycombe Wanderers memory box, and it is still it's still in one piece.
It's mid-90s, I think.
I
remember having one of these as well.
Yeah,
I
I
remember
would
having
say
one
so.
and stuffing my Wycombe Wanderers Simply the Best scarf into it, so it stood up like a gnome's hat, and then,
Yeah.
which meant I could then have to stand at the back of the terrace because I wasn't in anyone's way. But I do remember them; they were a class bit of kit. I think we should bring them back.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're right. I would definitely say 90s. It's slightly faded now, but it's a very classic piece of merchandise, I would say. And then it was either that or my 95-96 first ever Wycombe Wanderers home shirt, which I still wear actually, because obviously the fashion back then was to wear it quite big. And now it's to have a fitted shirt, so that's actually worked out quite well for me, because it's still just about fits, but I still think it's our best ever shirt, and that's very, very special.
Hold on, 95-96. That's not the Alan Smith shirt, is it?
No, it's not. I do have that, but no. Maybe it was 94-95 then, because I definitely got it around my first game. So I can't remember when the Mizuno kit came in, whether it was 96-97.
I think it might have been actually. I've tried best as I can to blank it from my memory, but it was 96. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic shirt, but in a very, very different way. But I think that I think the 95-96 shirt is just an all-time classic. I think that's great. And in terms of something that the club shop could consider, I'm a big fan. I think it's two of them in Wycombe. There's as you enter the Sands area from West Wycombe, and then there's one up by Handy Cross. But I'm a big fan of the Adams Park road sign with the football on it, and I think they would be a big hit if they were if replicas were sold in the club shop. I would definitely be purchasing one of those.
As they like the brown sort of the cultural significance signs. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they've never been stolen. I'm not encouraging anyone to do so, but and if it goes missing tomorrow, definitely don't blame me. But I think that would be quite a nice bit of merch actually. So there you go. That's an idea for this year.
Oh, it takes me back to my student days. We'd wake up surrounded by road signs and cones, etc. Jonny, that's a great idea. I shall forward it on to those concerned with the shop, etc. It's been great to chat about your Wycombe Wanderers memories, and this is going to go out live just before the Pompey game, and then obviously most people will listen to it afterwards. But just for the purpose of predictions, really, what's the score going to be against Pompey tonight?
I think it's going to be a very, very tough game. I think it's going to be a draw, and I'm going to go for 1-1.
Right, that's your lot for this week's show. Many thanks to Keezy and Wycombe fan Jonny South for taking part in our new feature, Till Death Us Do Part. And remember, if you'd like to take part too, then email media@wwfc.com. Right then, on to Pompey. Come on, you Blues.